Hi, and welcome to this live reading from Stranger, Fear Not Book One by Cecilia Campos, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1. Wish me luck. After the sudden death of my beloved Michael, I put on a mask that felt like it would never come off. I pretended to be the strong, confident woman I once was, but inside I was falling apart. Every morning I dragged myself out of bed, trying to convince both myself and everyone around me that I was fine. But deep down, I knew the truth. I didn't even recognize the person staring back at me in the mirror. Every day I held on to the fragile hope that the unbearable pain would eventually ease. But as days blurred into months and months stretched into years, it became painfully clear this was my new reality. A world weighed down by endless sorrow and hopelessness. Night after night, I cried into my pillow, each tear a bitter reminder that Michael, my beloved Mickey, was gone and never coming back. Then, one day, out of the blue, my neighbor showed up with a dog. He was a scrappy pup, a little bundle of chaos, who would eventually grow into what seemed to be a Siberian wolf, with a hint of who knows what else mixed in. With one striking blue eye and the other pitch black, he looked like he belonged in a fairy tale. My neighbor, who was a breeder, probably explained the breed to me at some point, but in the haze of my grief, the words barely registered. This little furball possessed boundless energy and zeal. If I didn't take him on long walks every day, he'd transform my furniture into chew toys, leave yellow stains on the walls, and turn my curtains, sheets, and even shoes into his next meal. But my neighbor had good intentions. She could see how much I was struggling and thought I could use some company, and you know what? She was right. What I craved more than anything was human connection, the warmth of companionship, the simple comfort of an embrace, and the reassurance of physical touch were desires that reached deep into my soul. I longed for it more than anyone could possibly understand. Sure, I tried to hug myself to mimic the comfort I so desperately needed, but it was never the same. Then out of nowhere came that little dog, and everything began to shift. He became my lifeline, his clumsy, heartfelt canine hugs, giving me a sense of purpose, a reason to keep going. It's almost impossible to put into words how much those moments meant to me, but somehow they kept me afloat, even though I knew logically that life is a precious gift, full of adventures and opportunities to grow. I struggled to truly feel it. Losing my partner had changed everything. What used to be our shared journey had become a lonely path I was forced to walk without him. I wanted to be happy for him, to find peace in his release from pain, but I couldn't help feeling overwhelmed by anger and resentment. He had won his fight against the disease in the only way he could, but in doing so, he left me behind in this world without him. Eventually, I hit a breaking point. Pitying looks and well-meaning advice from others became too much to bear. The endless cycle of repetitive news only deepened my sense of isolation and made me feel like the world was void of original thought. When I was younger, my parents' untimely demise had left me feeling rootless, without a true sense of home. That is, until I found solace in Michael's warm embrace, my soulmate, my everything. But now he'd abruptly vanished, leaving an emptiness that could not be filled, so I knew I had to escape, to leave, to go, go, go. So, on what began as a perfectly normal Monday, I packed my things and just went. While I couldn't shake off my gloomy thoughts, I could at least leave behind the physical reminders of my past. My dog, whom I'd named Patrick, after my celebrity crush Patrick Swayze, joyfully stuck his head out the window, letting the breeze ruffle his fur as I drove us out of the village. He looked so happy, as if he knew we were leaving for good, as if he could sense we were saying goodbye to all the pain and the heavy memories, leaving behind a place where everything reminded me of the man who had once been my world, a man Patrick would never have the chance to meet. Our destination? My uncle's cottage in the mountains, our new home. My uncle? Well, he's one of those people you'll never meet twice in a lifetime. Picture a blend of Rambo and a Boy Scout with just the right amount of James Bond charm to keep things interesting. He could school you on setting up a bear trap while casually whipping up a gourmet meal over an open flame, all without breaking a sweat. Honestly, I'm pretty sure he could wrestle a bear with one hand while trimming his beard with the other. That's just who he was. Effortlessly larger than life. Now, let me tell you about this cottage. A couple of years ago, when he first showed it to me, I was fooled. Calling it a cottage felt like calling a mansion a cozy bungalow. It was as if he'd set out to build the grandest farmhouse imaginable, with a touch of medieval fortress thrown in, and then sprinkled in the tech of a high-end command center. It had every modern gadget you could think of, but no Wi-Fi or cable TV, completely off-grid. And now, after dwelling in this mountain abode for a couple of years, I can confidently say that I love it. My life here is quiet and peaceful. Being off-grid means I have to generate my own energy, and with no supermarkets in sight, I've mastered the art of hunting in the surrounding forest like a seasoned warrior. I've become a total badass, channeling the grit and strength of both Lara Croft and Sarah Connor. And let's not forget my loyal entourage of goats, who seem to worship me as their queen. They follow me around like I'm the ruler of their little goat kingdom. Oh, and my homemade goat cheese? It's a hit at the local Friday market where villagers go crazy for it, and I'm some kind of cheese wizard, keeping the local economy thriving with my magical creations. And last but not least, I've got my own vegetable garden, providing the fresh veggies I need for my healthy meals. It's my pride and joy, and it keeps me grounded, literally. All in all, I've created my own little utopia here in the mountains. Sure, I might be a bit quirky, but honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. Right now, I'm down on my knees in that very garden, the cold earth beneath me, with One by Swedish House Mafia blaring from the speakers. I swear the plants seem to thrive when I play them this music, and for me, well, it helps me feel less alone. Patrick watches my efforts from a short distance, letting out a big yawn. Did you stay up late last night, buddy? I ask him, half smiling at his sleepy demeanor. The best part about living in the mountains is that I never have to walk Patrick. He has all the freedom he could ever want, roaming wherever his heart desires and burning off that endless energy of his. Sometimes I don't see him for days at a time. Who knows what adventures he's off having? But he always comes back to me, without fail, and always has something to say. Well, not exactly say. He barks and makes these funny squeaky noises. But I understand him and he understands me. Woof, woof, he announces proudly, trotting around like he's just returned from some grand expedition before flopping down beside me with a satisfied huff. Did you catch that fox yet? I ask. A high-pitched squeak tells me the answer is no, while I continue to remove weeds, checking if the snails are still gone. Those little critters have been munching on my plants for weeks now, and it's driving me crazy. The problem is I just can't bring myself to use poison on them. They're just too cute. So whenever I find one, I gently pick him up and carry him to the other side of the garden, where I've created a special corner just for them, complete with little snail treats and Evelyn slides. Yes, you heard that right, slides. I must be crazy. But what do those snails do the very next day? They waltz right back into the forbidden territory. Look at that, Pat. Seriously, have you ever seen such ungrateful little creatures? I mean, I create a theme park just for them, and this is how they repay me? It's enough to make a girl question her devotion to nature, right? As I spot another one hanging under a leaf, I grab him and relocate him to the snail amusement park. Oh well, at least they keep me busy, I chuckle. Oh, how I love our conversations. Who needs people when you have a Patrick Swayze by your side? Woof, 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 he agrees. Indeed, fellow, indeed, I say with a grin, and then grab one of the yard tools and start digging between the tiles, determined to conquer a stubborn patch of weeds that just won't budge. After a lot of prying and prodding, I realize I'm not getting anywhere. Damn, maybe I'll come back later with a burner and torch the little buggers. As I wrestle with the annoying stump, my shovel suddenly slips and lands right on my left thumb. Shit. Oh my God, that's sharp. Patrick starts barking frantically, his sharp barks cutting through the air as my eyes widen in horror as a bright red blood spurts from my thumb like a fountain. For a split second, I just stare, frozen before everything goes black. Later, waking up, I find myself lying on the ground, cold ground, with Patrick right by my side, his warm tongue on my cheek, looking at me with concern. Shaking my head to clear it, I push myself up slightly, only to feel a sharp throb in my thumb. I don't dare look. I already know what's waiting for me, and the thought of blood alone makes my stomach churn. I've never been good with blood. Even during my monthly horror show, I avoid looking down when I'm in the bathroom. Just one tiny shiny red drop is enough to send me spinning. It's ridiculous, I know, but that's how extreme it is. I quickly grab the tea towel hanging from my back pocket and press it against the wound, being extra careful not to peek. I'm certain that if I see anything, I'll be right back in the ground again. Damn, now what? Normally, I pride myself on being self-sufficient. When I'm feeling under the weather, I cure myself with herbs from my garden. I can hunt, shoot, and skin animals. I can milk goats and ride horses. Every few weeks, I even give myself a haircut that looks like it's straight out of a fancy salon. I can do just about everything on my own. I don't need anyone, except when it comes to my own blood. I think we should go to the doctor, Pat. I suddenly feel like I might throw up. But is it the blood making me feel like this way, or is it the thought of going to the hospital, where they'll probably record my visit in some creepy database? Because that doesn't feel safe at all. I've spent most of my life on the run for a reason, and honestly, ever since Mickey passed, I've been on the run again. So hitting the hospital is probably the last thing I should do. But then again, I can't just bleed out here, can I? What if I drop dead right here on the spot? Would Patty eat my flesh? Jesus, Ange, what morbid thoughts. Cut that out. Oh, and did I mention that my inner voice is Mickey's? Whether it's really him or just me losing it, I have no idea, but I swear it sounds just like him. Or maybe I'm just imagining things and slowly going crazy out here in my mountain fortress. Fuck you, Mickey. I love you, but you don't get to control my thoughts. If you wanted to stick around, maybe you shouldn't have gone and died on me. I'm so tired of being alone. So tired of running. What is wrong with me? Am I having a midlife crisis? Is that even possible at 33? It feels a bit early for that, but it would explain why I suddenly don't care whether I'm safe or not. Maybe I'm just fed up with being by myself. How long is this going to last? Will anything ever change? Will I ever get a passport again and travel where I want? Meet someone wonderful who doesn't ask too many questions? A companion? A friend? Or maybe even more than just a friend?